YouTube. Quick intro, let's get into it. We watching Film Theory, How to Make the Right Wish Obsession video. Now, I loved Obsession. Obsession was great. It's probably one of the best movies I've seen. Top 5. Still doesn't beat Sinners though. Sinners was still #1. But let's see how to make the right wish.
What's the best wish to make with the One Wish Willow? Well, we looked at it from every angle, loyal theorists, and I am just obsessed with this answer. Hello, Internet! What's the best wish to make with the One Wish Willow? Well, we looked at it from every angle, loyal theorists, and I am just obsessed.
You know what the best wish is? I wish Frank Ocean would make another album. Crack! See, if Bear made that wish, I would have loved the movie.
With this answer. Hello, Internet! Welcome to Film Theory, the show that asks you to choose between the man and the bear. No, not that bear. This bear. You know what? I think I'd rather just choose the subscribe button at this point. So, unless you've been living under a rock, you've probably heard about a little movie that's just come out that the entire world seems obsessed with. I am, of course, talking about Obsession, directed by the up-and-coming filmmaker Curry Barker, who actually has his origins on the YouTube sketch comedy channel That's a Bad Idea.
She's getting robbed! And I'm watching her get robbed, okay? I'm watching. I'm doing my thing.
He's also popped up.
And see, that's the thing. Obsession wouldn't be able to be made if it wasn't from like a younger person. It has to be from a younger person, because the way the movie talks about modern dating and like love bombing and all that stuff, like only somebody who understands what modern dating is could actually make a movie like that. Like imagine like a 40-year-old trying to make that. Like it just wouldn't work. It wouldn't make sense. But Curry, in his mind and how young he is, it just made the movie pop, and that's what I loved.
Up in other skits around YouTube and was even in an episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Just need you to sign these waivers. I'm not really supposed to let you in unless you sign this.
So that means that this is yet another massive hit from a YouTube creator who was passionate about their work. It's almost like you should let creative people do creative stuff, huh? Who am I kidding? Hollywood's gonna learn the wrong lesson out of this. To say Obsession has been a hit is an understatement. The film cost less than $1 million to make, and as of the time of writing, is over $300 million worldwide. Movies don't normally make more money each weekend than the last, and Obsession did that for several weeks. No film since E.T. the Extraterrestrial went up 3 weeks in a row, putting Barker in some good company. And Spielberg even gave the movie a huge shout out.
I have seen Obsession and I loved it.
Listen, I don't need to keep glazing this movie, just go see it. And congrats to Curry and everyone else involved for making a movie that's really struck a chord with folks. Just like Kane, you guys have a bright future ahead of you. But okay, what actually is this movie about? Obsession follows Bear, an awkward dude who has a huge crush on one of his best friends.
Such a chud. Such a chud. Like, genuinely, how do I describe Bear? He's a chud.
Nikki. But Bear isn't exactly the best at expressing his feelings, or talking, or like anything really. He's kind of a loser. After a failed attempt to confess his love for Nikki, Bear decides that he should at least try to do.
He's a fat chud. Oh, I can't. It pisses me off seeing this man's face. It pisses me off seeing this man's face. Genuinely, it's that bad. The first time I watched this movie twice. First time I saw this movie, I was like, bro, just die. I need you to die. I need you to die. I need you to die. Second time, I was like, I'm so glad I know he dies. I'm so glad I know he dies.
Something to share his true feelings. So, does he man up and have an adult conversation? Of course not. He takes the One Wish Willow, a novelty toy that's supposed to grant wishes, and uses it to wish for Nikki to, quote, love him more than anything in the world. Fantastic plan. That couldn't possibly go wrong. Cue it going catastrophically wrong. Yeah, Nikki does suddenly fall head over heels for Bear, but something's off. It's wrong. Nikki doesn't seem like herself at all and acts in disturbing ways.
No, don't do that! I thought we were having
top 5 scariest moments out of every horror movie, bro. Because if that happened to me in real life, I would have to end it all, bro. I would have to end it all. Everybody looking at me in the restaurant, I'm like, wrap it up, wrap it up.
Bear becomes the center of Nikki's universe, to the point that sometimes she doesn't even move, not even to go to the bathroom if he's not around. And she becomes violently protective of their relationship, all while Nikki's original personality seems tragically buried under this new Nikki that's, well, obsessed. And it doesn't end well for anybody involved. So that got me thinking, if we were suddenly able to get a hold of a real One-Wish Willow, well, what is this thing? How does this magic work? What should you wish for? What strategy should you take to get the best possible wish out of this thing? And maybe more importantly, what should you avoid wishing for and why? I've been obsessing over this movie trying to get the answer.
I feel like any other wish but Bear's wish is a good wish. Like, it's just like, cause like I remember watching like Curry talk about it, and he was like, the One-Wish Willow is not inherently bad. Like, it's not like it's like, oh, it's meant to curse you. It's meant to be like, you know, like, be careful what you wish for, because it will like make whatever wish you make like super bad unless you're like ultra specific. Like, spoilers, but Ian, he cracks the wish and he's like, I wish for $1 billion, and $1 billion falls from the sky. Like, that's still a bad wish because like inflation and stuff like that. But like, even if you ask like, I wish for a credit card that had no limit and I never had to pay any of the money back, crack. That's a wish. It literally can't go wrong, because you're not bringing like a magical $1 billion into the economy. You can just buy whatever you want. So, I mean, it's just Bear's wish was stupid. Like, he could have just said, I wish that Nikki would, no, not even I wish that Nikki, I wish that I had the confidence to ask Nikki out. Crack. Movie over.
Oil theorists, and today I want to get to the bottom of it. So pull out that Jenga block and snap that One-Wish Willow, friends. We're going in. Alright, if we want to figure out how to make the best wish here, we should first see if we can pin down exactly what's going on here in the story of the film. Like, how and why does Nikki go off the rails here? After we identify that, we can then figure out how to best craft our wish. And, well, hey, we actually might already have the answer to what's going on thanks to a popular fan theory about obsession that's been floating around. And that theory is that Nikki is actually being possessed by the ghost of Bear's dead cat, Sandy. Yeah, if you've been plugged into the discussion about this movie at all in the theory space, you've probably seen this, so we kind of had to talk about it. That's a cool idea and would be a fun twist for this movie, but does that hold any merit, and can it help us find the best possible wish? So here's my mini trash take on that cool idea to find out.
Leave your theory.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. That's the stupidest theory I've ever heard. I was talking to the first person I saw the movie with, and they were like, yeah, you know, like, I think it's Bear's cat, like, that's like possessed, because like, look, she has like cat like, you know, tendencies. I'm like, that's stupid. Like, that's really stupid. That's really stupid. Because we all know that cats don't act obsessed with people. So why wouldn't the cat act obsessed? She would just act like a cat. Like, and like, at first, when I was watching the movie, I'm like, she's a demon. It's a demon. It's a demon. It's a demon. But I'm like, after watching it the second time, I'm like, I don't really think it's a demon. I think, like the film theorist said, he basically just suppressed Nikki's true personality and replaced it with like a obsessed one, you know? Because you can't really make people love you. So it had to be a fake version of Nikki. Because like, because like, we know it's a different personality, because I always call it the entity, or Wish Nikki. Wish Nikki in the movie was like crying to Bear, like on her knees, like saying like, I'll be anything you want. I'll be anything you want. And he's like, don't say that. He's like, just be Nikki. And she's like, I can't be Nikki because Nikki don't love you, but I am forced to like love you. So I have to be something different because Nikki don't love you. Where was I getting on this tangent? Anyways, yeah, the cat theory is dumb. I hate the cat theory because like it just doesn't make any sense. Like, yeah, she had one scene where she was doing like something like a cat, but that was it. Like it's dumb. Anyways, let's see what he has to say.
In the comments or subreddit, I'll pick my favorite in the next episode of Trash.
The gist of the fan theory goes like this. Bear's cat Sandy dies at the beginning of the film after ingesting oxycodone. Bear is clearly uncomfortable with death, it's kind of a recurring theme for the character, and puts the cat's remains in a trash bag, not giving her a proper burial, which, man, having lost a couple of childhood cats in the past year, bro, come on. Have some respect and decency. R.I.P. Virgil and Belle, y'all were wonderful little kitties who lived long, happy lives. Miss y'all. Anyway, when Bear uses the One Wish Willow to make Nikki, quote, love him more than anything else in the world, that made several theorists online think, well, what loves someone more than their cat? Maybe the One Wish Willow somehow attached Sandy's
A dog.
spirit to Nikki. But that thought was just the start of the evidence. First off, Nikki does demonstrate some vaguely cat-like behavior. She stands in the corner at night, watching Bear sleep like cats are known to do. She moves in a way that looks strange for a person, but might make more sense for a feline. She waits.
That scene right there. That scene freaked me out the most when I was watching this movie. I watched it the first time. Second time I watched it, I literally told my friend, I was like, yo, bro, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get some water. Or like use the bathroom. I forgot whatever excuse I made. Because I knew that scene was coming up, waited it out, came back. I was like, yo, bro, I had to abandon you. We had to go, bro. I could not stand. My heart couldn't stand that scene again. It was so creepy.
To the door all day for Bear to return, going as far as to relieve herself on the carpet, both things that cats can be known to do, and it also looks like she ate a bug and some cat food while he was gone, which just, man, that's gross. Plus, throughout the movie, Nikki seems transfixed on Sandy's body. She makes a shrine for the cat and turns her remains into a sandwich for Bear, leaving him a note on a Polaroid selfie reading, "It's not me," potentially hinting that the cat has taken over. Now, this is a really fun idea, but when you look at it, it just doesn't hold as much weight as you might think. Firstly, Curry Barker has repeatedly said that Obsession isn't a movie about possession. He said, quote, "We were very specific. I didn't ever want her to play possessed. We didn't want it to feel demon-possessed. We wanted it to feel like a realistic situation. She's not possessed by a demon, she's almost possessed by her own desires and wants." Plus, the actress playing Nikki was asked about this theory and mentioned that she only heard it after the movie came out. So both the director and the actress playing the character didn't go in with this in mind. All of those cat-like movements and actions were just coincidental at best. Turns out that cats can just be creepy little predators, so acting creepy and being a predator might just make you act like a cat. And secondly, again, coming from someone who's had cats for basically my entire life, I just don't personally see the acting like a cat part of it as much as other people. Yes, cats can be loving and sweet and clingy and affectionate. They can get sad when you leave the house, or even if you just close the door, longing to be with you. But I've never had a cat that would just refuse to move if I left, enough so that they'd use the bathroom on the floor. And the way Nikki is basically glued to Bear just doesn't read cat to me. These are the same animals that...
Like, it would make more sense if, like, his dog died. Because, like, dogs are more, like, they want to be around you all the time. Most of the cats that I've experienced in my life, like, eventually they're like, all right, get off me. I don't want to talk to you anymore.
If they're cuddling with you and you move like a millimeter to readjust and get comfortable, they get up and walk away because you ruined everything, dummy. So, while I do believe that Bear's relationship with Sandy is symbolic of how he treats Nikki, he was their undying love, but doesn't reciprocate or put any effort into their well-being, enough so that the cat dies under his care, I just don't believe that we can say that this possession angle is what's going on here, so we can't use it for this theory. Okay, if that idea was a bit of a dud for our purposes here, let's take a step back and examine how the wish was made here at all. And that would be all because of this thing, the One-Wish Willow. So yeah, okay, what the heck is this thing, and can we use that knowledge to help us at all here? Just on the face of things, this looks like a stick that they're selling in a box at a mystical supply shop, which was a real place, by the way. It's a store called The Green Man in Burbank, California, which I actually got a chance to visit recently. And yes, they did sell all the same witchy stuff as in the movie, so neat. Just on the face of things, the fact that this magic MacGuffin was found in this sort of mysticism shop is significant because it seems like this sort of magic is real in this universe. And this isn't even the only example of it in this movie. At the beginning of the film, before Bear makes the cursed wish, Nikki talks about losing her crystal necklace. That's actually what causes Bear to go into the mysticism store and kick off the whole plot. He was basically looking for a gift for Nikki. Anyway, in magic tradition, people typically wear these sorts of crystal necklaces as a form of protection. And I mean, isn't it a fun coincidence then that the terrible events of this story start because Nikki loses that necklace and therefore that protection? But that's not the only crystal that Nikki mentions that she has. She also has a tiger's eye that's a family heirloom. This stone has a lot of meaning in crystal lore. It represents courage and protection and personal empowerment. So yeah, you know, very symbolic that she'd be handing that over to Bear and giving up that personal empowerment. Or hell, maybe it was like a cry for help from the real Nikki buried deep down, asking Bear to be brave and to fix this, but I'm getting off track. See,
then she literally is like sleep talking, and she's like, "It's the real me. You gotta murk me, bro. Please, please." She's begging, "Please, Speed, please, kill me, kill me." And he's like, "What's so wrong about being in love with me? Just kill me." I'm like, oh my goodness, kill him and keep her alive. Good God. Because what's so wrong about being in love with me, Nikki? You know it's not her. Nah, he make me mad.
when Nikki hands over the tiger's eye, that's when things start to go off the rails. Before this moment, she was at least acting like Bear's perfect girlfriend, but after she gives up the tiger's eye, she becomes increasingly erratic and dangerous in her behavior, eventually leading to terrible consequences for the other characters in the movie.
R.I.P. Sarah, she didn't deserve none.
Every time Nikki lost one of the crystals protecting her, things got significantly worse for her. So it seems like within the world of obsession, these sorts of magics and their rules are real. They aren't just beliefs, they're not just theories, they're facts. Anyway, the stick part of the One-Wish Willow is based on, you guessed it, the branches of a willow tree, with the woven shape based on petrified cactus skeletons. The production designers hoped that it would make people feel a little uneasy when they looked at it. Like, have you ever heard of the fear of clusters of small holes? It's called tryptophobia, and this thing definitely gives off that same vibe. They wanted it to have an aura of unsettling power just from looking at it. But here's the thing, throughout history, willows have
It did not make me feel uncomfortable during the movie. That made me feel uncomfortable.
also been surrounded by mysticism. Again, something that's real in this world. IRL, this was because it could be used in a lot of basic medicines. The Assyrians, Egyptians, and Greeks all used willow to treat pain, inflammation, and fever. Naturally, over time, people started associating this plant that made you feel better with religious ideas. Like, it must be magic, or the gods, soothing my pain. In the Odyssey, it said that Persephone, the wife of Hades, grew a grove of willows in the underworld, and Orpheus and his story were completely tied to the willow tree, which gave him outstanding poetic skill after touching a willow. It basically gave him the power to drop some bars, while also protecting him as he carried willow branches into the underworld. It's also associated with sadness and grief, earning it the nickname the mourning tree, probably because it just kinda looks really sad. And understandably, as time went on, that religious connotation and visual interpretation evolved into associations with witchcraft. Like, did you know that traditionally, a witch's broom is often made from a willow tree? Honestly, all of this kind of lines up with how we see the One-Wish Willow portrayed in the film. It can be used for both good and evil. It can bring death and cause grief, or heal the sick and lessen your pain. It just all depends on whose hands it falls into. So it seems like the twist of this magical lore here is that there is no twist. The One-Wish Willow is magic, and it has roots, pun intended, in deep magical lore in a world where magic is real. That actually seems kind of surprisingly straightforward, but I still don't trust it. Bear's wish blows up in his face so badly and thoroughly that there has to be a way to protect yourself with your wish here. So, what?
Just don't wish for somebody to love you. Like, the first thing when I finished that movie and I looked at the person I was watching it with, I was like, girl, you know what this reminds me of? Aladdin. Literally when the genie was like, you cannot make somebody fall in love with you. Like, it's one of the rules. This is the reason why. Because love is such an inherent choice that to make someone fall in love with you, you must create a new version of them. Because love can never be forced. It can never be forced. It's always a choice. So to make someone love you, you have to take away their ability to choose. This is what the genie was telling us. And Bear didn't listen. Maybe Bear just didn't watch Aladdin growing up, but I feel like we all did. And if he watched it, I'm like, maybe you would realize maybe the genie was right. I was like, you could have wished. I still think the best wish, and if he doesn't say it, I'm gonna say it. The best wish you can make, if you had any wish, it doesn't even matter if it's a one wish, Willow, is I wish to have a credit card that I cannot lose. It will always be like in my wallet when I need it. It has unlimited money, and I never have to pay the money back. Don't screw up the economy by asking for like $1 billion, and you can buy whatever you want. There.
What if we look at the One Wish Willow and its rules and see what we can learn here to avoid that? Though we've only really seen it in one movie so far, the One Wish Willow is a carefully crafted wishing MacGuffin. Like, it has some specialized rules in this universe. You can only use it once, wishes can't be undone except if you die, or maybe if someone makes a wish that contradicts yours, only one wish per person, you can't manipulate time, resurrect anyone from the dead, become immortal, wish for more One Wish Willows. Sounds a little bit like Aladdin, huh? Honestly, given the similarities, I wondered if the One Wish Willow was somehow powered by genie magic or something closer to jinns, but it's not so. Curry Barker himself has said that the inspiration came from, wait, The Simpsons? Yes, really, The Simpsons. Here, check it.
There was an episode of The Simpsons, and it just happened to be the episode where Bart Simpson has like a monkey paw and is making wishes, and it's like wreaking havoc. And I just was like, oh wait, that actually could lend itself really well to this like obsession idea.
So perhaps that could give us a little bit more info about what's at work here. If you don't know, both this and that Simpsons episode were referencing the classic horror short story The Monkey's Paw, written by W.W. Jacobs all the way back in 1902. Here's the gist of it. A man named Sergeant Major Morris returns from serving in the army and brings home a mummified monkey's paw. A curse was put on the paw, making it so that it can grant 3 wishes, but each wish comes with dire consequences. Morris then gives the paw to his friends Mr. and Mrs. White, and after Mr. White wishes for £200 to pay off what he owes on his house, the next day his son is killed in an accident. Mr. and Mrs. White are then given £200 as compensation for the death. Devastated, Mrs. White wishes to have her son come back to life, only for his shambling corpse to come back and knock on the door. Yeah, this story is a classic, and you can probably get the whole theme of be careful what you wish for shining through here. So, my first bit of advice if you're making a wish on the One Wish Willow, you have to be very careful with your wording. Bear's wish was a quick, split-second decision. He made it out of desperation, and that was a huge mistake. When you make—
And see, I also, yeah, what he did was like chud-like, but at the same time, during this part of the movie, I don't think Bear was the bad guy. Because I'm like, okay, you're making this wish, like you're not, your thing is like some random little toy. Like, he didn't think it was real. But once he starts realizing that the real Nikki is not her, he starts becoming the villain. I'm gonna tell you when. And a lot of people don't talk about this scene. This is the most crazy scene in the entire movie, and nobody talks about it. After like the scene where she's like, no, 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 like after the dinner scene, and he's like, we're having a good time, right? And she's like, okay, so why does it matter if I'm lying to you? And he was like, yeah, you're right. It doesn't matter because we're having a good time. That's when he becomes the villain. Because I'm like, you know that she's lying to you. You know that something is wrong. And she's saying, why does it matter? Because you got what you wanted. So now he's inherently being selfish.
Your wish, you need to literally write out what you want to wish for physically with a pen and paper and read it back over and over. Is it worded carefully? Are there any other ways that your wish could be misinterpreted? Words that have multiple meanings that you haven't clarified? Think of the worst case scenario. How could this go wrong? Basically, you're going to want to write this whole thing out with legalese so there isn't a real way it can be misinterpreted. And while that can help you, like, mechanically find your way to the best wish, the more important lesson we can learn out of the monkey's paw, well, it comes down more to the spirit of your wish. Again, be careful what you wish for. That's been a very common theme for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And within each of those stories, they stress that there are consequences for messing with fate. That being said, we know it's not impossible to make a wish that turns out well with the One Wish Willow. We know this thanks to the shopkeeper at the store when Bear goes back to ask questions. He used his wish and seems to be perfectly fine. Plus, in interviews, Barker's gone as far as to say stuff like this.
Do you think anyone can beat the One Wish Willow?
I think, yeah. Everyone kind of treats the One Wish Willow like it's this cursed thing, and I understand why because of the context of the movie. But the thing is, the thing that Bear wishes for is cursed.
And that, my friends, is the key. To get our answer about how to beat the One Wish Willow and make the best possible wish, that's the thread we need to pull on. Bear's wish was cursed because what he wished for was cursed. So with that now in mind, what mistakes did Bear make with this wish? Well, believe me, he made a lot of them. I've seriously seen debates online asking whether or not he's the villain in this movie, and it just made me sit back and think, did we watch the same movie?
It's kind of obvious. Yes. And also, one of the biggest things, I wish that Nikki would love me more than anyone else in the entire world. The more than anything else in the entire world part, that's what killed it. I feel like if he said, I wish Nikki Freeman would love me, crack. It wouldn't be as bad as I wish she would love me more than anybody else, because that makes it mean, okay, she loves you more than anybody else, meaning she doesn't have any regard for any other human life. That's why she murked both of your friends. And she doesn't have any regard for herself. That's why she acts so obsessed. Because if she loves you more than anyone else in the entire world, that means she doesn't love herself as much as she loves you.
He's clearly the bad guy. He might be the protagonist of this story, but he is not someone we should be rooting for. Think about it. His poor cat dies because he leaves his late grandmother's medication open in the middle of the kitchen, which we know because these sorts of pill bottles have child-proof lids, and cats don't have thumbs. Well, at least not last I checked. Plus, given that there were days worth of cat food and kibble just spilled onto the floor, Bear was letting this cat down. In his grief for losing his grandmother, he wasn't taking care of Sandy. And speaking of his grandmother, well, given how he treats the cat, he wasn't exactly the best caretaker for her either. If you pause the film while Bear is using the fake AI chatbot Genie LM, which just gross by the way, you can see some of his previous conversations. The more recent ones include stuff like how to impress a girl, or how to play Green Day's Basket Case on marimba. I can confirm that every man has looked that up at least once in his life, but going further back, before his grandmother passed away, you'll see him searching for stuff like old people homes or nursing homes. Clearly, being a caretaker like this was not something Bear was able to do, and he was trying to pass it off. And that, in and of itself, is not a bad thing. Recognizing your weaknesses and asking for help, especially when it comes to the care of another person, is a great thing. But given that his grandmother's medicine was still in his home, Bear never went through with this. In July, he also asks the AI what oxycodone is. That's the same medication that sadly killed his cat. The bottom of the bottle even reads, "Do not eat." And clearly, that message wasn't meant for Sandy, so it must have been for his grandmother. But if you've ever been in the position where you're an end-of-life caregiver, you'll know that "do not eat" scrawled in Sharpie isn't exactly going to stop someone with a deteriorated mental state from popping pills like candy. In fact, experts recommend locking medication away or throwing out old medications to avoid accidental overdoses. And yet, the medicine cabinet we see in this house is easily accessible and filled to the brim. The long and short of it is that Bear is a neglectful person, which comes follows through in his wish. He's not concerned about how Nikki feels about the whole situation, and he doesn't take responsibility for what the wish means, which also reflects another one of his big flaws, his selfishness. Yeah, pretty much every action he takes is done with only his interest in mind. Some of it's not great, but understandable. It's implied that he's having a lot of trouble processing the grief of losing his grandmother, working through and communicating those complicated emotions while also feeling conflicting emotions of attraction to Nikki. Mixing those two things. Again, it's not great, but it's understandable.
Yeah, because it's kind of weird, the way he talks about Nikki. He was like, yeah, when I first moved here, you were the only one who was nice to me. And, you're so sweet and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, all right, gang. I said this first time I watched this. Bear didn't like Nikki for Nikki. He liked Nikki because of what Nikki would give him if they were together. He's a chud. He doesn't know how to communicate. He's, shy and stuff like that. Nikki is this outgoing, caring, sweet person. She's talkative, she's funny, she has all these things, and Bear is like, if I could be with her, I could get that. And that's where I'm like, you didn't love her. You wanted the things that she would give you, about having the confidence, about having a beautiful girlfriend who, is super kind, caring, blah, blah, blah. I noticed, when she gave to the homeless guy and stuff like that, he saw those good things in Nikki. And yeah, you can say, oh, no, maybe he just liked those things. But I really think, since he is inherently a selfish person, is because he wanted those things. He wanted those traits to rub off on him by dating her. But that's just my theory. A film theory.
But that drives his selfishness further and degrades his mental health to the point of desperation. Thus, why he even wants the affection from Nikki in the first place. The reason Bear's wish was so cursed wasn't because he was wishing for something he wanted. Wanting things is totally natural. We see Ian wish for $1 billion and pretty much get it with no immediate consequences. Sure, there might be a movie somewhere in there about learning that money can't buy you happiness or whatever, and it did end up distracting and killing Ian, but Ian getting
let me not yell. Stupidest character in this movie. I wish for $1 billion. Crack. That's already your first stupid wish, because you just screwed up the economy. But let's not talk about that. Let's talk about this man running up to this man's house. Yo, bro, I just got $1 billion. He wasn't sitting right next to you when you made the wish. He knows. I don't know. I feel like maybe they were trying to have a different line, because that line just never made sense. Because I'm like, he knows that you have $1 billion. If it was me, I had $1 billion. I'm not, bro. He knows I'm gonna go do something. I'm gonna go buy a car. Let me just go buy a car. But see, what if the wish was since he didn't ask is specifically where that $1 billion came from, it came from a bank or something like that, and they're all marked bills, he can't use it.
What he wanted wasn't immediately a curse. No, the reason Bear's wish was so cursed was because the thing he wanted was control over someone else. Just think about it. Have you noticed a trend here while we've been talking about these characters? We've discussed so much about Bear's mistakes and flaws. He's selfish, he's neglectful, he's not a good person, and doesn't particularly want to get better. That motivated his wish, and it ruined or ended not only his life, but the lives of his entire circle of friends.
Right. Because he didn't make a wish for him to get better. He made a wish for her to change. If he wasn't a truly selfish person, then he would have said, like I said before, I wish I had the confidence to ask Nikki out. Instead, he took the easy way out, because he's like, well, even if I wish for that, she still has a chance of saying no. So I'm going to make sure that she can't say no. A lot of people theorize about this movie. One of the biggest themes is, consent and body autonomy. And I 100% think that is a huge theme, because literally he was like, I'm just going to make sure that she can't say no. Like, that was his wish. Instead of saying, I wish I could ask her out. Because then it would be a very humane wish. If he was like, I just wish I had more confidence. Because still the outcome is still a 50-50 chance.
That to the shopkeeper later in the film. He tells Bear that he's already used his wish, but he seems very, well, chill. He has a positive attitude, and his life seems to be going pretty great. I actually wondered if maybe he used his wish to learn to be a good businessman or an entrepreneur so that his shop would do well. But the actor actually came out and revealed what he thought the wish was. And the answer?
Serenity.
He wished for inner peace, to be happy, and he got it. I mean, he's probably the most chill, level-headed character in the whole movie, and he offers genuinely good advice. So, the secret to making a good wish an obsession, of beating the one wish Willow, you can't pick something that affects other people and their freedoms. That means no true love or world peace or anything like that. No, what you need to do instead is to use it to improve yourself, to give you the tools to be smarter, or give yourself a new talent, or to improve your well-being.
Get the credit card, get the credit card, get the credit card, get the credit card.
Could mean anything from becoming healthier, or being more motivated, or hell man, I don't know, being the best strategic mind for Magic the Gathering. As long as you use it to improve you, and only you, it likely won't curse anyone else. Which, I mean, really goes to the themes of this film, right? There's a world out there where if...
And add to the credit card thing, only I can use it. Like, I'm the only authorized user that can ever be on said credit card.
Bear had been more confident. If he'd done some more work on himself and thought about other people and gone to some gosh darn therapy, none of this would have happened. He could have taken better care of his cat, made the right arrangements for his grandmother for her end-of-life care, found the courage to actually just talk to Nikki like an adult, and maybe she would have liked him back because of it. All he needed to do is want to be better and then work at it. And my friends, you don't need a one-wish Willow for that. But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory. And cut. Up next.
W video, W video, W video, W video. W video film theory, go follow them. I know you probably already do because they're super famous. W MatPat. W this new guy. I don't know his name. I gotta figure out his name. But Loki, he killed it. I haven't watched a film theory video since MatPat left. So this has been dope. Y'all been great. I appreciate y'all. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out.
On film theory.
Let me retry that. Thank you. And peace out.
Earlier